We
This
are
is a little bit of an experiment.
board bets.
Well, the
Oh,
whole
I don't have to
idea.
sound smart in this show. Not that I'm smart in
That's
this show.
true. This is an unscripted show in
No
which Damien
clients.
wrote a script.
There's no
Um,
clients listening.
look, we are Free Float Media. That is Hazelnut Rawlis.
What
Damien
you're too
Hazelnut Rawlis.
formal. Wait, do I don't want to be that guy.
I want to introduce us for like
I don't
10
want to be
seconds.
him.
You don't want to be Hazelnut Rawlis?
I want
Who
to
are
be
you?
Gus. I'm Gus.
That's it. That is literally.
I want to be one of the guys on.
Move the mic
the
closer
show.
to your face, first of
You ever
all.
watch This Old House?
Yeah.
I want to be one of the landscaping crew that comes over in the background, like digging a trench. That's that. I'm that guy.
Okay. That's
Gus.
background guy. That makes me other guy. Um,
You could
but
be the
you
head
should
landscaping crew.
introduce what we're doing here. I don't even know what we're doing
All
here.
right. This is our pilot program, Board Bets. What we do is
Move the
we
mic close to your
pull.
face, you fool.
What?
Move the mic closer to your face. You sound like you're
We
far away.
pull. I'm going to pull headlines for us every week. Publicly traded companies, headlines that deal with people. We focus on people. This is what we do. Always focus on people. Directors, CEOs, CFOs. And we're going to talk about the stories and we're going to make a decision if we should buy or sell, basically, right?
Yeah, so I have a question right off the bat,
Yeah.
which is how do you buy or sell people? I
Well,
mean,
let's start with the first one. The first headline is Charles Schwab, CEO Walt Bettinger to retire at end of 2024. Rick Wurster to replace him. First of all,
all
it's
right.
not Worcester, isn't it? Like worse.
So
There's no
this
word, right? Worcester.
Worcester,
It's the
Worcestershire,
worst. He's
isn't
the
it
worst.
worse? It's worse. But there's Worcestershire sauce.
But
Isn't
he's not the
this?
Worcester CEO. He's the worst CEO.
He's not even a CEO. Like
So yeah.
this is a stupid bet because
Okay,
Charles Schwab is still on the board.
So according to we have freeflowanalytics.com up. Anyone can go to that. So according to
That's what I'm
this
showing right here.
chart, Walt Bettinger, what influence does he have already on the board? What percentage currently?
Oh, Bettinger has 6% influence on the board, which
And
is
because the
staggering.
company is dominated by Charles Schwab, right?
Who has 64% influence on the
And his
board?
daughter's in there too somewhere,
Yeah,
right?
she is somewhere in here. There she is. She's only got 4%, but mostly because it doesn't matter that she's on the board because her dad's on the board, right?
So the question is, would you buy shares in the short term for Charles Schwab, thinking that the new CEO is going to make a difference?
Here's the thing about it. No. Um,
Okay.
also,
Is that
like
it for the show?
the company can afford to underperform, right? Like
Why?
Schwab has more controversies on their board, their directors have more controversies than like the vast majority of their peers. It like this number controversies, the average in the financial sector is 801. Schwab is 343 as a board team. They're basically way underperforming the
How do you
financial
know the
sector.
average? Where do you see the average?
Oh, click the little board performance thing. It's right there. So click on the company. Yeah,
Yeah,
there you
Charles
go.
Schwab
There you go.
Corporation.
And now on the chart, go to board performance. You see it?
Oh, I didn't even know that after all this time.
We only built this goddamn thing. This is pathetic.
Look at that. That's
Um,
incredible. So just tell no one who's listening, because I don't think anyone's listening, but
no,
what
we're
are
just testing this idea.
controversies? What are controversies?
All right, so it's shitty things companies do. So do people track like how many time a company shows up in the news for doing something shitty? And basically, what this means is the average company in the financial sector, well, I should say it this way: the average directors in the financial sector see some controversies, but not a lot. And Schwab sees a lot. 343 is horrible. It means the board members themselves, in fact, you can sort them by their controversies. Like if I go down this list, you can see like a bunch of them are batting 232, 241, 259. It's not great. Schwab himself, Charlie fucking Schwab himself, is batting 295. Here's Charlie.
I
He's
like that the daughter and the father are basically the same controversy score.
Can we? Well, it's because they've only ever been on this board. Because no one would put the daughter on a different board. Like
Yeah, but if you look at their total shareholder return, I guess he's been there much longer than she
he's just
has.
been there longer. He's just
Yeah.
got a slightly different time frame. But at some point, Charlie Schwab has to step down because he's
No.
86. And by step
D-
down, I mean
Dead.
die.
Died.
Yeah,
Yeah, thank you.
die. Right. Which means it's going to all move to the daughter, who's 64. Not
Yeah.
exactly like
But she has
brand
spent
new.
at least 20 years as an executive at the company. She's not John R. Tyson or
But
whatever.
only 2 years on the board, according to our data.
Right. Well,
Which
I think she was put there in 2022 as a succession plan.
So then, what are we talking about with Walt Bettinger stepping down? Like, what do we talk? What do we care about the CEO?
All right, so you're
Isn't it
out.
just going to her?
So instead of belaboring the point, you're out. You're done on Charles Schwab. No.
Yeah, I would never buy. I would never buy on that news. Like,
Well,
the
the real question
people
is,
in charge are still the same.
So when he
You buy
dies,
because they're doing a good job or not, which they're not. Great.
when
So
Charles Schwab dies, she will take over as executive chair. Is that the guess?
yes, for sure.
Okay.
I think that. I mean, she gets added to the board when he's 84. The average life expectancy of a man is about 84, right?
So you're
A
calling
rich
this
man
a-
is slightly higher. Or
So
rich white
there's
man.
no action. You wouldn't bet on this company based
No,
on
I would
this
never bet
information.
on this company.
Well, I
No,
guess
this
the
is a
question is,
stupid bet.
but we should come back at some point and revisit them when he gets sick. Is there any way we could? Do we have like a camera, like a Google Nest we could put in his room to see when he?
I
coughs
have
a lot?
asked. I have asked. It's not come back the way I want it to. Schwab does not appear on my hot list right now. Not even close.
You
In
have a
fact,
hot list you created?
I created a lot of hot lists. All I do is hot lists.
You have a hot list for people who are about to die?
No, I wish that was my hot
Wait,
list.
we should create that. We should have like an over 85 list.
Well, let's look quick, right? So these are all the directors in the world. So all the data that's like on this, all the people on here that you can see, like all the companies. If you click on like any one of these companies, like it'll show you all the people on it. They're all downloadable and they're in this big database that we have. So I can actually just look by age, right? So what'd you say? Greater than what, 85?
Well, yeah, with considerable influence, with at
All right,
least
great.
like 30% influence, maybe.
Greater than 85, greater than 30% influence. Globally, there's 69 of those people.
Oh, really?
Yeah, out of 93,000 active directors. In the U.S., Schwab among them, right? In the U.S., there are 29. So actually, almost half of them are in the U.S. We love old dudes who run shit.
Well, you want to make this simpler and just put 50% influence, just they control the board?
Sure, it won't make a difference because if you're above 30, you're probably above 50 at this level. Yeah, it's 20 of the 29 are above 50. But we talked about this company, National Beverage Corp., which appears in that list for
Does it?
their founder, Nick Caparella.
Mm-hmm.
He's 87 years old and he's still on the board. He's still running the company. And the average age of the board at National Beverage is 81. That's the average age. But yeah, there's a short list. You've got Berkshire with Buffett, who's 92. You've got Mercury General with George Joseph, who's 101 years old and has been on the board since 1961.
Then I wonder if we should already be like shorting Buffett.
It's probably not a good idea to short Buffett just in general.
Why?
Because
Don't you think in
investors
5 years
love
from
Buffett.
now, don't you think 5 years from now Berkshire will be down?
So
When
that
'cause
gets
he'll be
to what
dead.
that gets to this hot list idea. The idea I wanted to know, it's like a philosophical question. How will you buy and sell directors? Like how would you buy based on the people who are running the company?
Yeah.
And the only way I can think to really do that is a long dated short, like a short option. Like so puts.
Which means what?
So look, stocks go in one of two directions. They go up or down. And they do that either in very small increments or very long periods, right? We know that the boards are not sources of alpha. As in, you get the smartest people on earth to join your board. Your company's not more likely to outperform
Like The
just
Rock
because
or
just
Oprah,
because exactly. The Rock and Oprah do not guarantee you're going to
Ryan
outperform.
Reynolds.
Um,
Maybe Ryan Reynolds does.
Ryan Reynolds is probably on the cusp. But we do know that boards can make really bad decisions. 2011 Boeing board, the 3M board, the Norfolk Southern board. We know they can make decisions that blow up a company. So but you don't know when, right? Because the average board tenure is 7 years. Boards make strategic decisions with management. It can take 5 to 10 years for those things to happen. So my working theory here is you need to buy something. A put is the ability to sell a stock to somebody. You want to buy a put that's long dated, so way out into the future. So
Yeah.
you're effectively short, but you limit your downside risk. Because if you shorted a company, you can't short them for like 10 years. Like you run out, they'd margin call you to death. You'd be out of money. So the theory here is you could buy an option that limits your downside, but if and when a really shitty company with really shitty boards does a really shitty thing, you're on the right side of it.
But how about but then how about if you're not a shitty company and you don't have a shitty board, but you're run by an egomaniac like Warren Buffett and he dies? I mean, won't that company go? They're going to go down, right? They have to.
So
go
if
down,
you
won't they?
think that the company's going to go down and you think he's only got like a couple of years to live, then yeah, buying a like a longish dated put on Berkshire
So will you do
for the
that
death
today?
of Buffett.
Will you do that?
Will I do that right now? Let's see what they're trading at. I don't know. I don't know that I would do
I don't
that
have
right
Berkshire
now.
on my list today, but I know we're off topic a bit, but
We have a
I like
topic.
this idea. Puts on old dudes who control their companies.
I think Berkshire B is the one you can buy, right? Berkshire A you can't buy. Let's see what the options are. So the longest dated options you can get on Berkshire are 835 days, basically 3-ish years. And you can buy a put. And right now they're trading at 450. So you would buy a put with the ability to sell at something below that where you think it's going to go. So how much do you think when Buffett dies the stock goes down?
I mean, it's got to go down at least 10%.
So 10%. So in this, right, this means that the stock goes down 10% and you start making money. And the farther it falls, the more you make. Now, your maximum loss is $3,000 on this because the stock is so expensive. So one thing to do is to buy a long dated call at that's slightly out of the money also, up 15%, and then you created what's called a strangle or a straddle, where now the stock has to go down 24% or up 22% in the next 800 days, and you can make money on both sides. I wouldn't do that though. I'd probably just do the put. We don't have the money for that, so no, I would not make that bet. Do you think the stock goes down 10% if Buffett dies?
I mean, yeah. I think there'll be an adjustment. I don't know. I think all these big companies controlled by bigger than life names like Charles Schwab, Warren Buffett. I would think there would be an adjustment in the market. I mean, why wouldn't there be? If essentially Tesla's a meme stock because of their bigger than life CEO, why wouldn't it work the other way around?
It might. I think
I
actually.
mean, we could check. I mean, I guess we could look backwards and look for old people who died and how it affected their old people with power when they died and how it affected the share price. I guess
Buffett's a different class of
he's not like a
than,
Sumner Redstone.
yeah, people don't care about that as much,
And
nearly
media
as much.
and media is so hard to understand. I don't know if I'd ever put a bet on media, but
But I would say that Buffett, there was a lot of reports talking about how Berkshire just sold a lot of positions, big positions. Like they sold down a bunch of Apple, they sold down a
yeah,
bunch of
because he's
Bank of
dying.
America. Yeah, but nobody talked about the fact that he's just creating cash so that when the new CEO comes in, they can do something. Because
Oh, I mean,
otherwise,
they have enough money to make mistakes,
yeah, let him fuck it up.
so he won't look as
Also,
stupid at first. He's gonna fuck it up.
you think so?
I think it's gonna be I think it's gonna be a delightful train wreck.
I mean, Berkshire
I want
is
it to be.
how many Buffetts are on this board? There's Howard, Howie's on
Susan.
the board, and Susan, right?
But you know they have no idea what's going on.
Howie and Susie.
I don't even think they're gonna know how to. They're not even gonna know how to donate the money they were given. They're just gonna be clueless.
This board is a powerful fucking board. 71% of the directors are connected. $286 trillion in network power. That's a powerful board. And they stink. That's what's funny about the board. When you have Buffett, like he covers a lot of ills, right? His TSR is okay. He's average. Controversies are horrible. And this is over the last 7 years, this data. So even though when the stock is up, like other companies he's ever been on the board of, he was on the board of something else. At
Well,
one
like
point,
most
wasn't
of
he?
these famous companies that they talk about, these incredible, successful share prices. It's you really had to buy in at a certain point of time. Like
1984.
right, same with Apple or a lot of these companies. You're most people know. I mean, you don't just go out and buy it now, thinking you're going to reap those benefits. But you're right. The last decade or so, they look like a middling company, right?
I mean, they're up 118% in the past 5 years, which
But
if I do that versus the
but their
S&P, what's that
TCR,
look like?
their total shareholder return is right at basically at the industry
Yeah,
median.
it's average. It's like nothing burger average. I'm pulling up their
Although their
comps.
carbon figures and controversies are way below their industry average.
They're beating the S&P, but not by much
Well,
over the
that's what I'm
last five
saying is
years.
that then again, maybe they've been so middling for so long that when he dies, it won't be in effect anyway. All right, we're off topic. Let's stick with the news.
As if we have a topic we're
I
sticking
know.
with.
Let's get back to it. Sony Pictures, which is part of what? Sony Global?
Uh,
Sony Group.
yeah, that must be part of Sony, right?
So now this is interesting. I don't know what you're going to say about this because Sony Group is almost a purely Japanese board.
Well,
Um,
what's the news? You just said the name of the company. I don't know what I'm
Sony
looking at.
Pictures names Ravi Ahuja as their new CEO. Tony Vincicara steps down. Does this have any effect on what you're going to do with your holdings at
No.
Sony Group? Nothing.
My holdings at Sony Group? I don't have any holdings
How
at
about
Sony
this?
Group.
3 of the top 5 directors of influence at Sony Group are women. Who would have guessed that?
Sony's like part of the. Wouldn't they have adopted Abenomics and the whole like add women to boards faster than everybody else because they're like global and international and they need to?
Well, one of those women is a white woman. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Who went to Dartmouth?
So 26 of the 25% of the board is underperforms on controversies. Yeah, they don't make my hot list. I don't know. I don't have any
All right,
deep thoughts
skip
about
it.
Sony. Am I
So
supposed to?
so far on Schwab, you're saying what?
I like
Pass?
the death play. I do you think if Schwab
Okay,
dies that there's a market reaction? I don't think
yes,
so. I don't think
of
Schwab
course.
is. No, I don't think he's that legendary. Is he that legendary?
Charles Schwab?
Just because his name is Charles Schwab doesn't mean he's the like.
Well, this is why you see this succession plan. This is why you put his name on the board, right? It's why there's a Buffett on the board. There's why there's a Schwab, another Schwab on the board. You ensure continuity by putting one of your dumb kids on the board, right?
Right. There's always
So,
a Schwab there.
but that's probably a way of ensuring that the market doesn't move, right? That nothing is really different. So you're saying pass on buying or selling Schwab, but you're gonna look at death. Look at death.
Yeah, I like this death play.
All right, so in Sony, you're passing.
Yeah, Sony, I don't care about even a little bit.
Snapchat, their
Dual class dictator Snapchat. Yeah.
billionaire CEO. They're talking about Evan Spiegel.
Yeah.
Sold his LA mansion for nearly $4 million less than what he wanted. Would you buy or sell Snap stock based on that?
I don't. What does that indicate? Something wrong with Snap or Spiegel or his
Does it indicate
house?
that he's a fucking moron for losing money in LA? How do you lose money on LA real estate?
I wouldn't buy it. Would you buy in L.A.?
Oh, really? I just assumed that if the market is hot here in Maine, wouldn't it be hotter in Los Angeles?
It's been hot for so long. I don't think that
Oh, I see what you're saying. It's already
it's like
overpriced.
priced in. Like
Right,
that's
right.
why he's taking less. Why is he moving? Is the real question. And where's he
Oh,
going?
I'm assuming he already has 7 other homes in the LA area. He's just
I
getting rid
know,
of a
but doesn't
mansion.
that pique your interest? Like he's leaving L.A., right?
No, no,
So
no. That's not the inference. I assume he owns multiple LA properties.
oh he's
Wouldn't you
getting rid
assume
of
that?
one of his L.A. properties and
Wouldn't you
not
think
another.
that?
Do you think he's listed in like L.A. County property records?
Yeah, yeah, he would have to be, wouldn't he? Are they allowed to hide their identities?
They usually don't buy it straight up.
Oh, right,
Like
through
they
the
don't.
company.
They buy it through a company name or a shell name, so it's
Right,
hard to
right,
find,
right.
harder to find them, right?
Unlike us simple folk, where all our information is online.
Yeah, seriously. Like I, you can go to like find my name in a property
Yeah, I'm
database.
not going to do that though.
Also, LA does not allow you to search by name.
Oh, really? That's
You
stupid.
need address. Do you have
Oh,
the
maybe it's
address of his
because
property?
might be because there's so many celebrities. It's probably a
What's the
security
address of his
problem.
property? Do you have it in the thing?
No, Brentwood.
His Brentwood estate. That's not useful.
All right, let's get off of this. You want to keep going with Snap?
No.
Anything to say? Let's at
Yeah,
least call up Snap. Do we have
don't buy
Snap in
it.
our database?
Yeah, Snap's in our database. Evan Spiegel owns most. It split the
Yeah, with
ticket
his
with
partner,
Robert Murphy.
who
With his
no one ever
partners.
talks about, right? They're, these two are so young. There's no death watch on these two, unless they're still like partying pretty
I don't know.
hard or something.
Robert Murphy's 35 now. I feel like he doesn't have long for this world.
So if you invest in this company, you're just investing in Murphy and Spiegel, I guess.
Let me ask you something. If you are Evan Spiegel and Robert Murphy and you started this company and you added to your board Scott Miller is just on the board of Snap. It's the only board he's been on since before at least 2018. And Scott Miller's 71 years old, and he's the oldest by 10 years. The next closest is 61. Does anybody listen to Scott Miller? Or is he the
Yeah.
guy who like falls asleep like over his OJ at
No,
a
I
board
think that
meeting?
when you're in your 20s and 30s, you're a little frightened of the older people at this point. You're a little, it's like the
Really?
principal. It's like the school principal.
Scott Miller. Oh, let's look at the board. Board of Snap.
I guess it depends on what he looks like too. If he's like a chubby guy with a beard, you're not afraid of him.
What was the name? Scott Miller. Scott
Unfortunately, they don't
Miller.
list.
He's on the. He's with the. He's his background is
They don't have a picture of him.
Hyatt hotels. The hell is he doing at Snap in the first place?
He's probably like one of Evan's dad's friends, maybe.
Why? How does that guy get on this board? Scott Miller.
I want to see a
Snap
picture
board.
of him. Oh, there he
Yeah,
is. Yeah, they're afraid when he talks.
really? That
Yes,
guy?
absolutely.
He's the former CEO of Hyatt Hotels and United Infrastructure Company. So fucking what?
Yeah, he's the adult in the room.
The oldest by 10 years adult in the room.
How about the fact that he lives in Old Snowmass, Colorado? That sounds made up. That sounds like a town that a billionaire built for himself.
I don't think he's a billionaire. All right. So I'm a pass on Snap. I don't care about what Evans. Although it is funny to think like maybe he sold because he needed to move to the bigger mansion because he's having kids.
All right. Next headline: Netflix's CEO. Actually, I think this headline gets it wrong because Reed Hastings is no longer the CEO of Netflix, right?
But it gets it right in that he has 65% of the influence on the board.
Right. So
So
this is we usually make fun of these headlines for they don't tell us who they're talking about, but this one's confusing. But it is Reed Hastings they're referring to. Netflix's CEO backed Kamala Harris. Cancellations quickly surged is the headline. So
that's also nothing.
Bud
Burger.
Light. This is a Bud Light moment for Netflix.
Do you know what they left out of that discussion?
Yeah, they surged by like 0.1%.
They
Is that it?
surged by a very little. It's
Yeah.
like within the normal range of churn. But you know what also turned on at the same time he backed Kamala Harris?
We also turned on the Olympics.
No, the standard Netflix package turned on their advertising. Like now
Oh.
you get ads with the standard package. You have to
So you're
buy
saying-
the next package up.
So you're saying poor people bounced?
If you we
MAGA
almost
types?
turned it off because we were like, fuck advertising. I'm going to spend like $12 a month and you're going to advertise to me? That's what am I doing here?
Well, the other reality too is that so you can replace Bud Light. So the MAGA types got mad at Bud Light because they talked to a woman or something. I don't know what they did. They
I think
looked
they
at a gay
looked
person,
cross-eyed, yeah, at a
right?
woman, yeah, that's correct.
Or they like drove by a black family, and the so people said I'm not going to drink Bud Light, but the difference is that there are 18,000 other shitty beers you can drink, right? But Netflix, they don't have a ton of competition. I mean, they're the preeminent source of streaming. So it doesn't seem to be a company that's ever going to I don't know what they can do to turn off everybody all at once. There's
Why don't they
plenty
go
of
to
trans
Paramount
people.
Plus?
There's plenty of trans people on Netflix.
Well, they already
Plenty.
boycott Disney, so that basically left them with Paramount Plus.
But
right?
Disney
Like-
doesn't get into like they don't have gay people on Disney, do they? Or like trans
Yeah,
people?
of course they
or-
do.
they?
Lightyear, Buzz Lightyear, they made him gay.
Buzz is
They
gay.
Yeah, they of course they got gay people.
I find Disney unwatchable, so I don't know. All right, so would you buy or sell Netflix based on the fact that their founder, Reed Hastings, I guess is a Democrat? Would you
Netflix is complicated though because wasn't Reed Hastings and Ted Sarandos like the heralds of the anti-woke because they put Dave Chappelle on when he
Yeah,
made
that
fun of
was a
trans people?
brief moment of stupidity? The reality is that the Netflix has done an amazing job bringing in diversity into a very white media industry. I mean, they do a great job with their programming, and they're not just the actors, but the creators are there's a plenty of non-white representation. So they've been woke forever. I mean, they are woke. I mean, if him voting for a moderate Democrat is super woke, then they're out of their
I don't
mind.
know if you noticed, but Donald Trump told me she just turned black recently, so that's
Right.
it's not. So
I
much
think
that
what we're
she's
saying here is
moderate.
that this is a nothing burger.
Yeah, I don't know that you buy on this. Like, I don't think it's buyable or sellable. Like there's a chance that people like do boycott Netflix, but at some point, if you are a person who lives probably in Florida or maybe Texas, and you are boycotting currently Target, Budweiser, Lowe's, Deere, Ford, Netflix, Disney. What the fuck are you doing? Like you can't
think that-
shop anywhere. You can't watch anything. You can't even have a beer.
What percentage of people that boycotted Bud Light are intelligent enough to realize that Budweiser is part of the same brand?
I think most of them, but none of them are intelligent enough to know that it's not owned by a U.S. company. It's
I think the next one's actually kind of interesting.
I'll
Let's
be the judge of that.
pull up WW International. That's the real name of
WW
this.
International. Let's see. Let's see what I got.
So
I love how our search bar finds it immediately.
Seema Sistani is her name. She has 28% of board influence, so she is stepping down of a CEO of Weight Watchers. So this is an interesting one. What do you make of this? And this is a stock that's trading below $1.
I mean, I think Good for her. Aren't you bailing out of a sinking ship?
You
I
have
mean,
you have some old
SEMA.
you have some old people there ready to bounce. Stephen Altschuler, Dennis Kelly.
Let's
I
say
mean, this board is ready for a makeover, right?
the board is Ozempic made them over pretty much. But
But I'm
like,
saying, like, don't you think that
look,
this could be a good target for a buy?
no, if you're Seema Sistani right now,
Yeah.
you're looking at your life. You're at home. You're looking at your life. I'm the CEO of Weight Watchers in the era of Ozempic and Wegovy. Also, I sit on the board of Best Buy.
I didn't realize that.
Can you pick two less relevant companies in 2024 than Weight Watchers and Best Buy?
Best Buy's not still relevant.
Where is Best Buy relevant?
Don't people still buy stuff at Best Buy?
Yeah, people without other options, like without the internet, maybe.
Really?
What do you buy at Best Buy? You buy Chromebooks. You can buy a
I bought a
Chromebook
cord
anywhere.
there once, like a
That's really all it is. It's the Radio Shack
yeah.
of
I like it though. That's
2024.
why I like it.
I loved Radio Shack, but
Yeah.
you notice how Radio Shack doesn't exist anymore. You notice that, right?
No, it doesn't.
So if you're Seema Sistani, you're out on Weight Watchers not because I actually think she might be the canary in the coal mine, which says that Weight Watchers is done. Like they're done.
Well, I'm going to disagree with you here. So Matt's going to pass.
What are you going to do? You want to buy them?
Yeah, I actually think that this is a.
Who do you think is who's the interim CEO?
It's
Someone from the board, right?
this is the funny part of it. It's a woman named Tara Comonte, who used to be the CFO at Shake Shack. This is why I love it.
Oh,
Look,
well then it's guaranteed winner.
I don't eat a lot of fast food. I guess Shake Shack is fast. I don't even know if Shake Shack is fast food. Every time I've been there, I've only been to the one in Boston, and I've only been there like at midnight. And believe me, it
That's the
doesn't. It's
definition
not
of fast
fast
food.
it's not fast
No,
because
no, but
it's slammed, and it's like full of 19-year-old kids, and it takes like 45 minutes to get your food. But
and the food's not that good.
actually, I kind of, as fast food goes, burger wise, I kind of enjoy it. I always, but here's the thing. Again, I don't eat a lot of fast food. Maybe I'm not a good representative of this world, but I typically will get a cheeseburger, share some fries, a shake. I always feel disgusting afterwards,
Yeah, of
and I
course you
would sign
do.
up for Weight Watchers at like 2 a.m. after going
No,
to Shake Shack.
the reason why they make what does Weight Watchers really do? They don't do like exercise classes.
No, but it helps you like count your calories and keep a good
Yeah,
diet.
but they're a food company. They basically are like Weight Watchers meals and Weight Watchers points based on those meals, right?
Yeah.
So the Shake Shack person is really just how do we make our shitty like healthy
Oh, I
meals
see.
taste like Shake Shack so people want it, but also, it's
See,
a
I
lose,
thought it was
isn't
more
it?
of
It's a
like,
lose-lose because it doesn't
how
matter.
do we
Shake Shack, Wegovy and Ozempic are going to put Shake Shack out of business.
I thought it was more like a guilt thing. Like after the holiday season, people probably sign up for Planet Fitness because they're feeling chubby. After going to Shake Shack, maybe you want to join Weight Watchers because you're feeling like a greasy asshole or something.
Yeah, it's possible. That might be one
That's
play.
that's what happens with me at least. So
I
I'm
don't think
still
that's the play.
I would
I
buy
think
on
you're
this because
wrong, but
I like a board overhaul. I like when 28% of board influence leaves. That's the CEO. So I just think that the price is so low. To me, it's worth a shot. Like, right? It can only go up. I mean, yes, it could just go away. You're
I
right,
mean
but
that's just could go away. So if you're playing the
I'm
options
buying.
game,
So
you're
how are we
buying.
playing this? We're gonna
So you
do
want to buy how
a
long?
hundred shares. I want 100 shares.
You want 100 shares? That's what you're buying the options. I think you buy a call for 100
No, I
shares.
don't think it's going down. I think it's going up.
Yeah, how much do you think it's going to go up to? It's trading at 81 cents right now.
Um,
A 50% increase in the price is
well,
$1.20.
again, I want to see a full-time CEO, and I want to see some of the old directors going. At that point, I'm feeling good about it.
So when's their AGM?
Good question. I will tell you.
This is the stuff that makes for the best live streams.
This is why no one's watching because we know too much.
Okay, it's the AGM last year was May 9th, so it'll be May of next year-ish, right?
Okay.
So working backwards, it is October. So what do we have?
How long do I have to? If I buy like a share of Weight Watchers today, what can I vote at the next meeting?
Yes.
But I can't do a shareholder proposal.
You might be just inside a shareholder proposal.
I have a Robinhood account. I should buy it. I'm gonna buy some Weight Watchers right now.
So you have 7 months. 7 months is about 120-ish days. So you could buy a 197 day call at 30 cents. It would cost you $30
No, Matt,
to get 100 shares worth. And the share price, so if you do it this way, the way it looks is as when the share price hits goes up 60%, you start making money. So if it goes to $1.50, you make 100%. You're never gonna get into it. You're gonna just be like sending yourself texts. And, this is the stupidest use of.
Well, you can keep talking. I'm gonna buy 10 shares.
You can buy 10 shares. So you're just gonna hold it. You're just gonna go long on it.
Well, yes. I'm not a very smart person. Your money is eligible for a boost.
No, it's not. You don't want that.
Is this a real company? Is that a real company,
It's
Robinhood?
it's gambling. Your money's eligible for a gamble.
WW.
So you
I
can set a
don't know.
limit order of the current price.
Ooh, 81 cents is perfect.
Set a limit order of 82 cents, and you want 10 shares of the company.
Sure. Am I really
So
going
it
to
cost you
$8.20?
$8.20.
I feel now I'm feeling gun shy. All right, I'm going to do it.
You're gonna own like 70% of the company by the time you're done.
Well, mostly I want to earmark this one because this is the perfect company to have a share proposal on. I think Damian Rollis owns 10 shares.
What's your proposal?
Well, let's think about that. I've got time. Something to do with
Board
chubby,
refresh.
something to do with chubbiness.
I don't know that that's gonna make it past the SEC.
Well, it'll be like a report on maybe like belly circumference of customers or something. Or
Here's the real question: how does Seema Sistani manage to make 8.8 million in her summary comp when the company trades at 80 cents?
did I actually buy this? Did it go through?
I don't know. Did you hit submit order?
Saying review order again.
Yeah, so you got to review it and then you can buy it. Have you ever done a thing on? You have a Robinhood account. Did you ever do anything on it?
I think I did. Wait, so it didn't go through?
You have to review the order and then confirm it.
I did.
Sistani's actual take home in 2023 was 12.5 million. That's shocking.
So how are we gonna do this for the show? We're gonna come up with our own portfolio of because for the show's purpose, I think we should do like a minimum of 100 shares.
Well, we can do what we can. I have to put money in the account. We do what we can afford.
But we don't have
and
to
you're
do
on
real.
the show talking about what are we going to do for this show.
But we can do fake. We can have a fake portfolio though. I mean,
Yeah, I guess we can.
all right. So let's move on. Anything else to say about Weight Watchers?
Yeah, that if Sistani gave back her $12 million, their net loss last year would have been $100 million instead of $112 million.
That's not going to happen. All right. I like this next one. JP Morgan CEO succession looms, putting the Jamie premium to the test. See, this is exactly what we're talking about.
That's what you're
Exactly.
talking about. You're talking about the Berkshire. Jamie Dimon for sure.
Titan.
When he's out, Jamie Dimon says is its own meme at this point.
He's a
right?
titan of everything.
Of everything, yeah.
I mean, he might be, as CEOs go, he might be the man. I mean, you have all these jokers like, the Elon Musk types and the Evan Spiegel types, But Jamie Dimon, he's a real CEO. He's a real man,
He's a real man.
right? It's a real company.
I don't know about real man. Let's back that up.
He's not selling like cars. I mean, come on.
Jamie
I
Dimon
mean, got
is
26% of
68
influence.
years old. He's still young for,
But he,
Titan.
so why do you think they keep talking about the succession plan? You think he's going to run for president or something? Like, why do
He's
they
been the CEO since 2006. He's been there for almost
bored?
20 years. I think at some point you're just like, can I be done? Can
Well,
I
here's the
like,
thing. Here's the thing. He's going to stay as a chair. We know this, right? Because he's not going to be
yes,
able to quit it.
executive chair.
So he'll still be running the company essentially. But what would you make action now, knowing that he might be out? Let's say he's out by 2026.
20 years, the 20-year mark, he steps down.
And I don't know where are these news stories coming from. I'm like, are they announcing their succession planning?
He's been talking about succession planning for a long time, yeah?
Then maybe we shouldn't trust this.
I think he's going to step.
Oh, look at this. JP Morgan shares reflect a so-called Jamie premium of 10% to 15%. That's exactly what we said about Buffett, right?
Well, so if that's true, right? Then you could go look and see. If I look at JPM and I
Come
look
on,
at
we got to
their
make a move
their
on this one.
options,
We got to do something for this one.
well, we have to be able to afford a move. You just need to calm yourself.
No,
So how
it's
long?
fake
2
money. We're
years? A
doing
year and a
fake.
half? 2 years.
Are we doing a fake portfolio? No one has to know. We can still say YOLO if it's fake.
Nobody's listening to us. 471 days. So you think by January 16th of 2026, he's out?
I mean, look, I wish for the purposes of our show, but there's no way he's actually leaving. Is he really leaving?
So if you were to buy, in order to break even, I could buy a put at 205. It would go down the Jamie premium 10%. As soon as it loses the Jamie premium, we start making money. That's
Yeah,
the way
I
that
like
would
it.
work.
I like it. I'm in on that.
All right, so write that down. We're buying a January 16, 2026 put at 1965 for 100 shares with a
1965
strike
per share.
price. Strike price of 205.
Wait, what is 1965 for how
Is
many
the
shares?
it's the current option cost,
For how many shares?
100, and with a strike price at 205.
205.
Yep. So we make on if you bought that, we would make $18,000 potentially if the stock goes down 15%. Oh, we make $1,000 if the stock goes down 15%.
So we're calling this the okay. I like that. So, but it's funny that you didn't like that for Buffett. Well, you were thinking about it. You were considering it for Buffett.
I think Buffett is unlike Diamond, who does not have dual class shares and does not have two of his relatives on the board. I think Buffett is
Immortal.
protecting the asset by selling everything and sitting on a ton of cash,
true.
right? Like Berkshire's value doesn't go down when he dies. It's simply the value of the perceived value of Buffett himself.
Not to mention that, he's kept those two Buffetts on the board for a while. He pretends like they're smart by giving their foundation all this money, right? So, and he's talked about his successor, Greg Maffei, for the last 400 years. So he has like warned his fanboys.
I mean, Munger died this year, right? Like, so, like, I think everybody's.
That's a good question. When did Charlie Munger die?
Everybody knows. Yeah, find the Munger death date. We'll see if it had a stock price.
Oh, it was last year. Boy, he really does look like a turtle.
Oh, don't speak ill of the dead.
Was that ill? A turtle? Is that a bad thing to look like?
Yeah, just like you said, he looks like Mitch McConnell.
So
what
November
was the date?
28th, 2023.
November 28th,
Oh,
2020.
No, I guess the Munger effect is a
It went
It's
up.
gone up since he's died.
Yeah, it went up.
It went up $95. Poor Munger. So he was
It looks
Munger
like
was a
in the
drain.
immediate aftermath, it went down.
That's true.
So if you like zoom in on it, right, like
Well, then that
it
proves
goes
my
down
point, no?
slightly.
That proves my point. So,
But it does not sustained, right? Like that's not like
but I
like
thought the whole idea of
a
a put
sustained
is that
premium.
you get out as soon as it drops, right?
No, you need a sustained
For how long?
loss.
For how long?
You need it to last long enough to make your money, right? If you're like, so this lasts less than a month. It lasts 2 weeks, and then they're back up again.
So,
So
I guess the
basically,
key
everyone
is-
forgets Munger a week and a half after he's dead in the
So
market.
you have to be shorting companies as soon as someone dies. You have to go. You have to short it.
You
Is that it?
probably got a couple of days after someone dies. I think Diamond matters more than Buffett. I do.
I agree with you. All right, so let's move on because I'm getting hungry.
And we got 5 more minutes, 10 more minutes.
Former WWE CEO Vince McMahon is defiant in Netflix doc. So there's a new doc basically demonstrating once again that this guy's a complete crazy asshole. But then again, now that I'm thinking about it, is he still on the board of what's the new company called? TKO?
TKO, I think, yeah.
Is he even? I don't think he's on the board anymore. Now that I think about it, so he's actually not on the board anymore. Although The Rock is on the board. Jonathan Kraft is that the son of the Patriots owner?
Believe so.
He's on the board of TKO. Why not? Egon Durbin.
So Egon Durbin is Silver Lake. He's a
So maybe we can pass on this one because he's actually. I guess Vince is no longer on this board.
Egon Durbin needs to stop being on so many fucking boards.
Especially
Pull up
these,
Egon.
especially these
He's on
broy boards.
VMware, Motorola, Dell, Endeavor, and Unity Software, and the TKO board.
So there are no more McMahon family members.
No, remember the daughter stepped down.
Well, isn't she married to Nick Khan?
Yes, but
Or is that-
Nick Khan is still on the board.
Okay. So there is some McMahon
No,
influence. still
not
left.
married to Nick Khan. Isn't she married to a wrestler?
Well, he has a professional name.
Yeah, but it's not
hold
Nick
on.
Khan. Nick Khan is who was like the CEO president.
No, it's Stephanie McMahon, right?
Stephanie, not Linda. Yeah.
And then she's married to.
Paul Levesque.
He used to be a named executive officer at
He
WWE.
was the chief content officer. He was Triple H.
But he is not on the board either, right?
No, he's off the board now. Nick Khan was actually like the CEO or something,
COO, maybe.
or COO of WWE.
He must have been the one actually running the company because
Yeah, because he's surrounded by insane people. Like
so TKO was pretty smart. So when they merged, so who was it? UFC merged with WWE, is that right?
UFC, no. So WWE got TKO is owned by Endeavor Group, which
Right.
owns WWE, TKO Holdings, and I think yes, the MMA, whatever.
But
that
they were
is.
wise enough to get rid of the McMahon name from their company.
There. I mean, I think McMahon stepped down from the WWE board,
Well, he was
but still owned all the shares, and
Forced
his daughter and son-in-law were still there. Then McMahon came back saying he should have never left. Then this merger closed. Then McMahon was forced out again because the lawsuits took like a more dramatic turn.
don't
There's
you
like
look
another
more,
investigation, and there was more like hush money stuff.
if you leave somewhere and then come back, right? Say you step down from our company and then 3 months later you come back, right? Aren't you more of an asshole by saying you never should have left? Just come back quietly. Why do you have to say that?
There is no quietly. There's not like you think he was going to silently just slip into the
If you,
boardroom and sit in the
that
back and be
that's
like,
on
"Oh,
you if you
we're
left. If
here."
you never should have left, then you look like a jerk. You're an idiot for leaving. Then all right. So let's just move on because I think that
There's
there
no
is no
bet
action
here.
on this.
There's no bet here.
Oh, this is a good one. Peter Thiel. We don't talk about Palantir ever, like on our normal shows.
That's actually
But
probably for the best.
it's weird though. Palantir. We don't talk about. Peter Thiel has now sold $1 billion of Palantir stock this year. What do you make of insider trading? Does that move your needle at all?
Well, he's a co-founder, and there's no bad news he's trading on.
He's just like quietly.
I think Peter Thiel might be getting out
This is a
of
young
stuff.
board. Look at this young board.
Yeah, well, Alex Karp, the other who's a co-founder, is a
He's the
young dude.
oldest by a lot.
Yeah,
Alex,
and he's
oh,
a
Alex
young
and Peter,
dude, relative.
same
Yeah,
age, yeah. And it is kind of fascinating that. Remember, you were talking about Snap having some adults in the room. Palantir is taking the opposite point of view. That everyone
none.
other than Teal and Karp are all basically 40 years old.
Yeah, they don't believe in adults there.
Here's another company that seems that their directors seem to struggle. They're hitting 145 in earnings compared to the median average, which is 464. They're hitting 373 in total shareholder return, which is quite a bit below the average of 467.
My favorite thing about this company is they have Class A, Class B, and Class F shares at the company. And the only people who own the F shares are Alex Karp, Stephen Cohen, and Peter Thiel. The B shares, they gave a little bit to some other people too, who are also on the board. But the majority of it is really owned by Thiel and Karp and Cohen. And then the A shares are what everybody else gets. Thiel selling $1 billion worth is probably because he has 5% of the A shares, 30% of the B shares, and 33% of the F shares. I mean, it's at some point it's just time. You just get out. The question should be with a company like this is why do Vanguard and BlackRock own it at all?
The other question is, do you trust? Take a look at Stephen Cohen's picture on our database. Do you trust this guy?
Oh, he looks a lot like Friendo. What's the Coen Brothers movie? No Country for Old Men.
Oh, that's not good.
Doesn't he look like that
I was
guy?
gonna say he looks like a really big Smashing Pumpkins fan who lives in his parents' basement.
You know, if you look at our picture for Alex Karp, I actually think it's the most fitting picture we have of someone from Palantir.
That I believe. I like that.
Side-eyeing you from from off camera.
Is that their choice, or did we not center on the photograph very well?
We didn't center, but it's funny.
Oh, I like that. I like that.
Alex Moore looks like a stand-in for Captain America, which makes me uncomfortable.
Karp is the one who's anti-Trump, right? Teal is the like crazy Trumper, and Karp is he's the more moderate. Isn't he for Kamala? Am I wrong about that?
No, you're totally wrong about that.
Karp is a crazy.
Oh my God, he's an insane person.
Oh, okay.
But I love that when you look at our data, the way it lists out is it's Teal, Karp, and Cohen at the top. In fact, Teal has the most influence. And then you go down and it's like Captain America guy, nerdy looking guy. And then at 1% each are the only two women on this board. The women are like the youngest person on the board is one of the women. And she literally looks like she just got out of college. I'm sure she's a highly accomplished
Maybe she was
being.
What do they call that? A mature student. Look at this
I'm sure
headline though. Just to counter, just to set the record clear. Look at this headline.
I can't see it on your screen because it's all blurry.
Palantir's CEO backs Harris and says that co-founder Peter Thiel's support of Trump made it harder to get things done.
Oh, interesting. I did not know that.
So there is a bit of a schism.
I
There. So
thought
maybe
he
you're
was
right. Maybe Thiel is winding it down, getting lost.
Getting out, find himself some
Thiel
Trump
is
love somewhere else.
Thiel is currently the chair of Palantir. What is he?
Teal is currently a guy who owns it all.
So is
See
it
what he
is
is.
this is really Alex Karp's show, and Teal
Alex
just
Karp
has
is
a
the
lot
one
of
who
this
runs
ownership?
it. Teal's a co-founder and chair. Yeah,
Okay. Well, maybe you're right though.
and
So does that influence your decision? Does Teal winding maybe the price stock maybe the share price goes up when Teal leaves? Maybe it's like an opposite premium because he's kind of a villain in this tech bro world, right?
I think he isn't he like he's like friends with Musk and like it's like the I think there's like two types of tech bro. There's like the regular tech bro who's like a multimillionaire, owns at least two houses, and made something that puts like dog ears on your photo. And then there's like the tech, like I don't even know, tech Jesus, right? Where you've got Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg and Peter Thiel, who are billionaires who want to influence every election and think everyone should listen
Everything.
to
They want to
everything
even
they
influence
say.
the solar system.
Right. They're basically trying to colonize Mars and Taylor Swift. Like they're really fucking weird and horrible, and they all turn into like not even libertarians, like angry incels. It's like there's some
Well,
gradation. Like they're kind of it's like they're normal Stanford dropouts into millionaires who can't believe their luck into billionaire incels. What is that
here's
evolution?
what I think. I want action on this one. I actually think there's going to be a negative. I think there's going to be a negative Peter Thiel effect.
Inverse. You think it's going
Inverse from
up?
Jamie. Okay, here's a company that its share price kind of it reminds you of like Sears or something, right? It's like a blue chip from the 1970s. Like it's only trading at $37, unlike all the companies you mentioned, the Nvidias and all the Teslas, the Microsofts. I actually think this company's waiting to go crazy, and I think the reason why it's stagnant is because no one knows what to make of Peter Thiel. He's like this creepy Ayn Rand figure. He's gay, but he supports anti-gay politicians. Like nobody understands who he is and what he is. He's just a creepy villain. Even Alex Karp is like, I don't know about this guy, right? So this one interests me. I mean, I'm gonna say I don't know what this means. What am I saying? I'm buying a
It's
hundred.
it is up 120% this year.
I, yes, but maybe that's because the market is also sensing that the creepazoid is about ready to leave.
When was the Teal announcement?
Well,
Yesterday?
it's no real announcement. It's just that he's selling a lot of shares.
Just got disclosed, but it was yesterday, right?
Uh,
Yeah, I think it was yesterday. So in the last day, it's up 2.3%. So that's your Teal discount
look at
reversal.
look at this guy. Come on. Compare this.
Sold.
Compare that to this. Right, Stephen. I'm with Stephen Cohen. I'm sorry.
Really? A friendo? You're with friendo?
So Dr. So you don't care about this one either. You're passing.
I don't. I think it's priced in. I actually don't think Teal is a big enough deal anymore.
All right.
I think you got
Oh,
2% up today, and I think that's it. That's
I,
what you
I
get.
I'm not saying it has to be a big deal. It might even just be the opposite Jamie effect. It might be 10 to 15%. Although, you know what? I actually think I think it's gonna more than double.
I
Honestly.
mean, in his defense, if what Karp is saying, Karp backs Kamala, right? If
Hmm.
Karp thinks Kamala is going to win, backing Kamala
Oh,
means
he didn't say that.
Palantir
Yeah.
lives and dies on government contracts. So if
Right.
Karp thinks Kamala is going to win and Teal is a pro-Trump guy, is Karp just hedging his bets for future government contracts within a Harris administration?
Or he spent so much time with Peter Thiel that he realizes that he'll do anything to vote for anyone who Peter Thiel doesn't like because Peter Thiel's crazy. All right, let's move on. A few more. You know what? Well, we can do this one. I don't think our database covers this company, unfortunately. James Cameron, director of Terminator, is joining the board of Stability AI.
Yeah, I don't care about this one. Move
Oh,
on.
let's just pass. Starbucks CEO Brian Niccol, new CEO, pledges constructive union talks. We love a good pledge around here.
I mean, if we learned anything, we should not celebrate union talks before the union reads the thing that the management team gives them. Because at
I've
Boeing,
read,
they're striking.
I think there was a headline today that about 500 stores have voted to unionize at Starbucks, but then they have like 5 million stores, right? I don't think that's a huge percentage of stores.
So Laxman steps down in like Labor Day weekend, right? And they're up like 4 or 5% that minute. They're basically up. Is there anything else to be priced in here? Is there any other thing?
Honestly,
Look,
I'll tell you my honest opinion about potential union action at Starbucks. I actually think it helps. I think it helps Starbucks if there's a labor fight and the workers come out ahead, like at UPS. I actually think it helps the stock price. I think it makes customers like them even more if this happens. So I know Howard Schultz hates unionizers and labor, but I don't know. I wouldn't know how to make a decision on Starbucks anyway. It's just like a confusing company to me. One of my favorites, but I don't know. You have any thoughts about the new CEO there?
I think he needs to go into the office.
Yeah.
But what I think is, first of all, that guy is heralded as like a turnaround artist. I don't think there's much to turn around
Chipotle.
here. Yeah,
Chipotle.
trees from Chipotle. I don't think there's much. I just hope there's no E. coli in my coffee from now on. But I don't think there's much to turn around here. Starbucks, I don't think is going anywhere. They're on every fucking corner in every single city in every single country.
Unless they unionize and they shut the store down like they did on one of my corners.
If
near
they
me.
were to shut down 20% of their stores, they're on every other corner.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, come on. What are we talking about? And I don't know that it's a bad. Didn't we see with UPS? Didn't we see with who else? The Delta, whatchamacallit, the airline staff. Didn't we see as soon as the unions strike big deals, they get flooded with applications. People want to work there.
Well, that's what I'm going to say. For a company that is most companies are, other than airlines, most companies are not so worker forward, right? When you go onto an airplane, you're dealing with their flight attendants, right? The whole flight, right? When you go to a coffee shop, you're dealing with the baristas, your whole experience. So I think you're right. I think that favorable union action is a boon, I think, to the company. I think it makes the customers feel better. It brings up application. Exactly. You're exactly right. But still don't know what I'm doing with this headline because
look, I think this
pledging something doesn't mean that he actually cares.
No, I actually think Brian Niccol, if you're smart, you would just allow you just open up unionization to everybody. Just just fucking be done with it.
Yeah, let it ride.
Like, let it happen. Let people do their votes, see what they want to do, like join an actual union, and then you deal with like the aftermath of it.
Like Microsoft. Didn't Microsoft said that we're not getting in the way of anyone unionizing?
Right, and then magically no one unionized, right? Like,
well, they're already making a lot of money, but yeah.
I think you don't get in the way of it. I think you actually it's right to say I will talk to them if there's a union to talk to. Like,
pass.
I know. I think it's a buy long. I think it's you don't buy an option. I think you just buy a few shares, and you sit.
I'm going to put you down for 100 shares.
Yeah, that sounds like an arbitrary enough number for me.
Actually, you know what? I'm in on this one too because, you don't typically see such favorable press too for a new. Maybe you're right because of his turnaround at Chipotle. Every headline about CEO Brian Niccol is positive. Every single headline. I don't know why. So I'm going to buy on that one too. Nike also has a new CEO. What do you think about a new CEO at Nike? Now, pull up Nike. Database.
Do I need to? Like,
here's the problem with Nike.
Travis Knight.
This is a Travis Knight company, right?
Yeah.
So do we care about a new CEO at Nike? Does it have any effect?
No, because Phil Knight and Travis own the company. It's
How old is Phil Knight? Does it matter? Because Travis Knight is only 49. He's the son of Phil Knight. Yeah, so
uh,
this is going to be a Knight company forever.
I don't. Yeah, he's been on the Travis Knight's been on the board for like a decade, and Phil Knight is 86. I
Yeah,
don't
because
think actually
unlike
there's a. Remember Phil Knight's like announcement? He was like, "We,
yeah, and let's
are
not.
happy with this new."
So Buffett's kids are already 100 years old because Buffett is like 140. Charles Schwab's daughter, who's on the board, she's in her 60s already. Travis Knight is still 49. So I what I'm trying to say here is a new CEO makes no difference.
Makes
So
no difference.
especially since he's an insider, he's been there forever, which means that he's probably washed Phil Knight's car like a half a dozen times in the last like month, right? I mean, they've known each other forever.
Yeah,
So
passed.
I'm a
I'm out
pass
on
on
Nike.
this. Nike has to actually do something good for the shares to go up. So two more, 23andMe, the whole board resigns. We know this story.
I think that's a buy. I think it's a
Ooh,
buy because, look, the story behind it is
I agree with you, by the way.
Wojcicki, the CEO and founder, wanted to bring the company private. The independent board members, who are actually hand chosen by Wojcicki, did not like the price that she was suggesting and did not like that there wasn't a plan that seemed very good. But the price is going to be higher than the current trading price. So
So this is
really, you're
not
just
about the
betting that
board.
she
You're
can
just
take it private, right?
so, but this you're not making a decision based on the board resigning, though. You're just making a decision based on your hunch of what will happen because it's going private.
Yeah, I'm making a decision based on the fact that, like, the board throwing a hissy fit, they're throwing a
Helps
hissy
her.
fit because it sort of helps her. Helps, like, they got out of the way of
Oh,
her
right.
taking the
Yeah,
company private, right?
yeah, it's true.
So
Well, you
if
know
I'm
what?
her, I'm like, I'm still taking it private. I'm just going to name some people who are just going to take it private with me and
I
whatever.
agree with you actually, but since we don't have a lot of companies where you're buying and I'm not buying, I'm going to let you have the buy on that one.
I don't know what the
Finally,
buy is, but they're up 2%. But I'm,
you're
yeah,
buying
37.
100. Every buy in our show is 100. I don't know what that means.
Oh,
100
okay.
what? I
That's
don't
so
know.
we're just making that up. Okay.
Finally, Commerce Bank. This is the uh, first company we talked about from Europe today. So they appointed their first woman CEO. By the way, it's not how you. I don't know who the headline writer at Fortune is, but it's not woman CEO. It's not a
Yeah, I
woman is
believe they're
not an
female, right?
adjective, right? Female, that's an adjective. Woman, that's a noun. You know, it's not a woman CEO. But anyway, first woman as CEO in its 154-year history. But the problem is that they have an Italian rival, Unicredit, who's basically buying tons of Commerzbank shares and threatening to take it over. So I don't know where you land on this one.
Um, I don't like anything about it.
How long is the new CEO? Her name is Orlop, I think. Let me look that up. Her name is Bettina Orlop. How long do you think she's going to be even be CEO of Commerce? How long is Commerce Bank going to exist? Do you think
7 minutes.
7 minutes? Okay.
I don't. It's they're gonna get bought out. I think actually on the board of Unicredit are a bunch of like Austrian, like Alexander Wolfgring. My guess is some of these. There's already overlaps.
Well, and this is a different kind of situation too because Orlop.
Yeah, he was born in Austria, so they're like the people buying Commerzbank on the board of Unicredit or Unicredit. Um, I don't think they're unfamiliar with Commerzbank. I think they know the market. I think they're comfortable buying it, and I think they know how much it's worth. So on the upside, you have a buyout, and she's one of the shortest tenured CEOs of a major bank. On the downside, the price ends up too high and they walk away. And then she's a Glasscliff CEO at a failing bank that couldn't get, bought out. And she probably gets fired within a year or two anyway for underperforming.
So pass.
Everything's a loss here. I don't like it.
This is a hard one to understand, I think, at this point. Yeah, all right. We agreed. Anything else you want to cover? I want to get the hell out of here.
No, let's get the hell out of here. This is our pilot show. We don't even know if this idea is going to work.
I don't think this is quite what we had in mind, but we're going to add some wrinkles and features as we move on.
Are we? I don't know. Yeah, I think we're just gonna turn on the camera and talk about.
How many viewers do we have? More or less than one?
I'll let you buy that bet. Which
Okay.
you can.
All right, let me go so I can eat lunch.
Goodbye.